Malaysia's Prime Minister, Anwar Ibrahim, is one of Asia's most recognisable leaders. Seen as a campaigner for democracy, justice and equality, it took decades for him to reach the top job. On the way, he was beaten by police and twice jailed on charges that were widely regarded as politically motivated. Finally sworn into power in November 2022, the country was still recovering from the billions of dollars stolen in one of the world's biggest financial scandals.
A number of corrupt 1MDB officials treated this public trust as a personal bank account.
Anwar bin Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia.
This year, as Malaysia heads up the regional power bloc ASEAN, Anwar's challenges have grown, from dealing with Trump's tariffs to cross-border persecution. In a wide-ranging interview with 101 East, we ask Anwar Ibrahim the hard questions about his Prime Ministership of Malaysia and his 2025 chairmanship of ASEAN. Prime Minister, thank you for talking with Al Jazeera's 101 East. What's your number one priority for ASEAN this year?
We've been quite cohesive. I think we need to strengthen that bond together. In this changing geopolitical environment, regional grouping is essential. The issue is the focus. The focus is intra-trade investments and to take a common position vis-à-vis the big powers and the neighbors. We have maintained excellent relations with our neighbors. We've been engaging very, very closely and frequently, meetings and phones, and most of the issues we resolve it through just personal contacts and relations. Well, Malaysia grew essentially as a trading nation, so tariffs do and certainly have some adverse or negative impact. Now, if we can get the ASEAN understanding cohesiveness together, then I think in a way we may reduce slightly the impact. The other advantage, of course, Malaysia in particular in ASEAN maintains the principle of centrality, which means we continue to have excellent relations with China, with India, South Africa, Brazil, taking sort of a more pragmatic approach. Whilst America, of course, is the largest trading partner and largest investor into Malaysia. So any tariff would also adversely impact on the American companies here.
We understand that in the region, amongst ASEAN countries, transnational repression has become Jho is a major shareholder of at least one key company, is in the process of being banned from the US financial system. The group allegedly laundered some $4 billion worth of illicit proceeds, including hundreds of millions of dollars from scam operations. Meanwhile in Malaysia, Anwar Ibrahim's leadership is fragile.
Enough of corruption!
To stay in power, his Pakatan Harapan coalition relies on his once arch-enemy, the United Malays National Organisation. UMNO ruled the country for more than 60 years, until 2018, when then Prime Minister Najib Razak was thrown out of power over the 1MDB corruption scandal. Jho Low, the alleged mastermind of the scam, remains on the run. Najib was jailed in 2022 for 12 years and faces a raft of other 1MDB-related charges. But last year he received a royal pardon that slashed his sentence, leading Anwar's critics to ask, is he... Since you became Prime Minister, Najib Razak has had his sentence halved, his fines reduced, and it now looks like he could perhaps spend the rest of his sentence in home detention. On what grounds was Najib pardoned?
You want me to be a dictator or to be a democratic leader of a democratic government? You answer that question. Do you think that I should be a dictator or a leader of a democratic government?
Well, I think you are a leader of a democratic country.
In that case, I should not interfere. The sole prerogative of any form of pardon is by the king. by the then king, in a meeting of the Padres board. Now, was I a member? No. Was my views solicited? No. But did I then advise in terms of the legal complications? Yes. That was it. Now, the perception is that, therefore, under Anwar, the case was halved. But it is not true. You know, if I was to do that, it's better that I withdraw the case.
I think the criticism...
The case is ongoing. I was one of those strong proponents against this financial scandal, 1MDB, and say, you must find out the truth. Yes. But I also know that the billions are stolen by many of the other leaders. 1MDB, one major case is ongoing. It's ongoing. But these people who've been obsessed with only Najib and 1MDB, I do not share. If you listen to them, the only problem in Malaysia is Najib and 1MDB scandal. I am telling you, yes, part of the scandal. It's not just Najib Prime Minister. There were Prime Ministers before him, Ministers of Finance before him, after him. Go after them. Why protect some? Why having this obsession?
Because it was the biggest case of kleptocracy.
From what you know, Mary, I happen to be the Prime Minister, I know a bit more. And I'm saying, yes, 1MDB was a big, major financial scandal, but there are many other billions stolen that must be resolved.
And so can you tell us what those scandals...
Yeah, the investigations are ongoing. But my point is, those critics, the critical voices against Najib, against what's happening, seem to be completely muted when it comes to the past leaders who have been squandering billions. My point is, go. I want this country to save itself from corrupt leaders and teach those who are corrupt a lesson. At least take back the funds and bring back and serve the people.
Why did you, though, personally take Najib's request for a pardon to the Pardons Board?
Because I'm the Prime Minister, I cannot show prejudice against anyone.
Your critics would say, though, that this was a politically driven decision in the sense that you rely on Najib's party, UMNO, to stay in power.
Well, this is what people are saying. You are damned you don't. So finally you do the right thing. What is the right thing? The right given to every single convict in the federal territory to submit a request for review. I've done that. What? To submit a request for a review, not a decision. I was imprisoned first by Mahathir, many years. Oh my dear. Then by Najib. But I said, look, we should go beyond that. I don't harbor that sort of bitterness because I think it is a disease. But the due process continue. The issue, Mary, forgive me, is why this obsession with this man who is now in prison. For God's sake, he is in prison. And those who are just plundering with their billions are still set free. And you don't bother. I mean, not you, I mean the so-called progressive or what, the critic.
He was the Prime Minister, the Finance Minister and the Chairman of 1MDB. His wife got a $27 million piece of jewellery and Najib says that was a pink diamond given to him by a UAE royal member of the royal family.
Thank you.
You know, and that's...
You don't convince me of that. I took it up.
But
some of these issues were taken up by Anwar. What is the deal? But my point is, he's now in prison and the case is ongoing. Why the obsession about Najib when you have many other cases too? Have we stopped prosecuting? No. Has the case stopped? No. Is the case ongoing? Yes. But okay, move on. What about the rest?
What about
you see,
the
there's
other
also
people
a trick.
who...
I think it's a blatant, nasty trick by some of these crooks who continue to just highlight Najib, so that they are, their case is ignored. Let us run this country and get back for proper governance and rule of law, and judicial independence. Let us run this country and not be balked by one obsession.
Just on that matter of people getting away with things, where is Jho Low in all of this? Why do you think he? No. Why? No. Just you. He's. But Mr. Najib, it is important because people are asking. He has been charged with money laundering. I think it's really important that you talk about how you feel about that.
No, I mean let them take action against Jho Low. I mean I'm not in the government now. Let the government pursue him. That's as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but why do you think he is evading arrest? He hasn't spoken out in support of you.
I am not in touch with him anymore.
But he hasn't spoken out in support of you.
Please follow him. Please follow up with him.
We are trying, but one of the first things that I did when I was Prime Minister to call up all the agencies, enforcement agencies, to do whatever they can, because I think he's quite instrumental, and his testimony will be pivotal in actually closing, at least putting an end to this case.
You said that Malaysia was negotiating with authorities overseas to secure his return and mentioned the process was complicated.
Yes.
Why is it so difficult, given the mountain of evidence against Jho Low, to actually get him back?
Because we don't know where he is. There's a web, of this, So
he's not in China?
No, we can't establish this in China. I mean, seriously, on record. But we suspect some movements. If I say more, they will be more complicated.
Is it a case that certain camps in Malaysia don't want him brought back here?
I believe so. I'm sure. I'm the fact that his return would probably expose more. I don't want to be distracted to consider this as the only issue that the Prime Minister Anwar has to deal with.
I regret, and I wish there was no 1MDB issue whatsoever.
Jho Low.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
no,
you.
no.
Thank you.
Can I just ask you about Jho Low? Because it
enough.
is important. No.
It's enough.
It
It's
is.
enough.
Why do
You're
you
coming
think
back
he?
to Jho
No.
Low.
Why?
Anwar has to deal with the issue of governance and rid this country of systemic corruption. And it's a major, arduous battle. And it does not start and end with 1MDB.
Thank you, Prime Minister. I appreciate you. Don't want another question?